grabs the kid, puts him in the car, but she was able to pull the kid out through the window. That was on the news in Queens over here. That happened here. And then another one, I think it was with a girl. She was waiting for her bus. She was sitting on the grass, but some guy got out of his car to pick her up from where she was sitting and waiting from. But he didn't get close enough to get her. She ran away, dude. Her backpack and all. I was like, what the fuck is up with these people? It just keeps getting worse and worse. I remember when I was talking about what is it with these wannabe thugs that they're raping old ladies and robbing old people? Like, what the fuck is up with these people? Disgusting. And now it just keeps getting worse and worse and all this shit. I'm still like watching the rest of the video that I didn't see from that ghost thing. Another thing the ghost didn't used to chase you out of the house either. But now it chases you all the way outside back to their RV and bangs on the door. That shit it got even scarier. I'm gonna eat shirts like undershirts here. Have you ever seen like the background of my profile picture? You guys ever seen the real me? So I was saying because of that hair and because I work out like I like the Bruce Lee look, I've always wanted to look like I don't know if this guy's from the King of Fighters, right? But I think you'll know who I'm talking about because everyone's seen this guy somewhere. It was like a karate guy that he does like Wing Chun, and he wears like the collar shirt of Wing Chun with the no sleeves, you know. And he was the guy that he has that stance with his hands out like Wing Chun, but he rode a skateboard. He always had a skateboard, and he wore a hat like a baseball cap and a ponytail going out from the back of it. If you've seen that character, I don't know his name, but I think he was from like the King of Fighters or rival schools. I, and they did put him in a Street Fighter game at some point. It was a dude with a baseball cap and a ponytail, but he wore like the baggy karate pants and the no sleeve um Wing Chun shirt, like the master's shirt. But I could like 100% pull that fucking look off. But ever since I cut my hair off, and I did that because the way shit was getting out here, I didn't want people pulling on my hair in case I got into a fight. I'm smart. I'm very tactical like that. My brother, like I have combat knives here. I know how to fight and shit. But if there's ever a group, I've learned to like use the knives specifically that Scorpion has Mortal Kombat. So I got the ones that have the edge on the sides of the blade. So these you could hold them to fight, like pointing downwards, like going, pointing towards down towards your pinky, so that you could fight. But then do the whole army combat shit. I look into all that stuff. But then I got into I saw grappling. So then I wanted the ones with like laces. So I have one that's with open lace and the other two are closed. So I have one here that if I ever have to throw it and swirl it around someone's neck or I actually do hit someone, I could just pull it back. And then the other two that are loose, I keep in my other pocket so I could switch between both. And then like I have like a loop where like it goes around. You know when you have your phone or camera or when you play the Nintendo Wii and it has that loop that you could put it on your wrist so it doesn't fall. So it's like that little strap kind of have that. So I'll be able to pull it back, but the other guy can't pull back on my rope. And if he did, it's just making it worse. That's exactly, I'd just be closer. I've been like that like all my life, man. I'm 30, so imagine doing this shit since 17 years old. I've always looked into shit like that. I've always been like, whenever I go to school, I've always been the type where if I had a water bottle or a Snapple bottle, uh, if I ever got into some shit, I would put it upside down, kind of like how I would hold a knife, only to pop someone with the cap side. I've always did a lot of shit like that. I've always steel toe boots from time to time. I always did a bunch of shit. I had clothes that like I was sure that I was always how you say attentive to wear hoodies that had the lace going through them loose, kind of like shoelace. And the belts, I specifically wore the belts that were just how you say, not buckle, but it's like a ring where you loop the belt lace around one, the ring thing, yeah, and had the two, that shit. So that's easier to like, you could hold that, swing that one around, whip. I was really big, man. At 19, I was really big. But when I lost that weight, I had to learn how to like put like swinging power into like a torque motion rather than just like you know, a boxing hook. Yeah, man, I've been like that, like nice and quiet and just learning and learning. A lot of that shit interests me. I've always been like safe like that. And growing up, I've been in like different foster homes and group homes. So I hated bullies. So that's why I worked out, and it wasn't even for fucking. It wasn't even to look good for girls. Yeah, yeah. But that's how it all started. Like they were all like they got into drugs and shit way back. So that's why I was like that, back and forth. But I've always been with my sister. Hmm. Yeah. What made it worse is like this Crohn's disease, like intestinal shit, eating me up since I was like 12. So it's like I didn't want to. It was hard to like want to do shit or be around anyone because this shit was more. Other than the pain and stuff, it was also embarrassing because Crohn's works with your intestines and shit. So it was hard to be near girls or be at friends' house. So I only had one or two, good best friends. This shit just makes you use the bathroom a lot. Everything is always a pain. All right, so I want to make sure everything's off my bed, and I only have these two bags. Yeah, I was seeing what people are doing lately. Streamers are talking about because of everything that happened. Um, they were saying they're running out of like content somewhat. They're saying that the games aren't as good as they were. Like they're running out of ideas. And I know I'm smart because I remember telling a lot of my friends that shit. I was like, bro, Sony and Nintendo are fucking up a lot, especially Nintendo. Remember how they came out with the bundle of Mario Sunshine, Mario All Stars? They didn't know what the fuck to do with Mario anymore. I was like, dude, they just, I wouldn't even buy that shit. They're just feeding their money hungry egos. And then I was like, if y'all were gonna do that, if I had worked for Nintendo, I would have reminded the other kids. I'm like, yo, they forgot Diddy Kong Racing. They got content there. They need to bring that shit back. I want to see them in Mario Kart, or I want to see a whole new Diddy Kong Racing where the people of Mario are in there. They could make different levels, you know. As big as Mario Kart is, imagine doing Diddy Kong Racing, more stages. That shit had. I'm just surprised that there were more content in games before than there are now. You're gonna tell me this is all Mario Kart has, but the 64 version, it had planes, it had the hovercrafts, and it had the go karts. The boss fights were. You ever played Diddy Kong Racing? Nintendo 64? Oh man, that shit was wonderful, wonderful. And a lot of it ain't just because of personal opinion. I just know. I know for a fact. I know how this shit worked. I know how what the kids liked. And but then they want to bring back what's that other one? Perfect Dark. They need to understand. No one's playing that. No one's gonna be playing that. What did you grow up with? What system or what you been playing? Mm. When did I get into? I never had a Dreamcast, and I only remember first playing GTA on Sega or the Spider-Man and Carnage games on Sega. Uh, I was in what is it, '88. I tell you what I did enjoy when I was what 8, 9 years old. I remember was it Paperboy on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then when I saw that they had it for Nintendo 64, it was really fucking good. And again, I say I'm surprised that the people that work in the gaming industry, why is it these are legendary games and they don't redo them? Because I find it unfair. They would, and they don't understand that. It's not that they're losing money, it's just money that's sitting there. And if I were to promote it, I was like, I bet you if I promoted shit for free or I made videos and I started getting views, then I bet you guys would give me a call. I 100% believe that I could do that shit. But I don't, yep. Because I would know how to promote it to people. I'm like, listen, like there's this one, Time Splitters game. Again, I say, how is it that something for the GameCube can have so much more content than a Call of Duty games of all franchise, like of every title? How is it that that game can have more? And you know who made that shit? The people of Halo made that shit. Time Splitters. And it was so funny. Me describing it, I try to do it in short because I know I talk a lot. But it's like, what made it good is, yeah, but I know what I'm saying. The guy in it, it was funny because they based him off of Vin Diesel when he was in the Riddick, right, with the goggles and shit. I thought that shit was cool, and that's exactly what they based it off of. It was him, and the game was about a guy. He was saving the world, but he had to go back in time. He had to go to the present. He had to go to the future, and he was trying to find a guy named Crow, Russell, whatever the hell, and that he was trying to become king or change shit in the world. That's why it was called Time Splitters. He traveled through time, but they made like these mutant creatures that they were trying to have them take over. They wanted these creatures that were able to phase through time and destroy the human race or some shit, while the other guy wanted to get immortality or some shit. But that game was mwah, but genius. I felt like I was playing. When you go to like the present, it looked like Modern Warfare, right? And that shit had so many weapons. I could just talk so much about it. It's just so much. The weapons has secondary, like let's say your laser gun, right? If you put a secondary effect, the bullets bounce off the walls. So when you're in the present time, it had rifles, auto rifles, like bolt action. It had regular guns. Flare guns were fun. I'm not even gonna get to the modes yet, but the story when you play single mode, it was the funniest shit ever. Because in the story, the character that you're playing with, depending on the stage, if you were playing second player, that character doesn't say nothing, but player two would be playing that guy. But if you play the game on first player, you go through the whole shit. The second character always says something or does something. So, um, yeah, so he's doing all that shit, and it felt like I was playing. It comes to a point where then you're at some haunted house, and they were doing like these mutant zombie genetic shit. So then it felt like I was playing Resident Evil, and it had like electric zombies, it had fire zombies, it had crazy shit. The stage was just funny. And there was a girl. It was like some I don't know how old she was, 15, 16, but her shirt said slut on it. She had a short skirt. And this dude, like, he crept up on her by mistake. She turns around and kicks him in the balls. And she's like, "You're not a zombie." And he goes, "Yeah." And he, yeah. That shit was so funny. But then they both end up looking through that shit, and they were like poltergeists and things moving around, and it was so fun. And then he travels again, and he goes to the future, and it looked like I was playing Transformers, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Now he's inside like this tank with like rail guns and Gatling guns. That game had everything. Now, if I go to the modes, now that I said all that shit, that was packed in that one a GameCube game, man. If you go to the modes now, imagine being able to make a Black Ops map, right? And this was all saved to the SD card on the GameCube. Imagine being able to make your own map. It had a map maker function. Plus, you could make a level like the AI and shit, and it had a program where you could connect the AI to do certain tasks, or you can say whenever you got this key card, this unlocks, or whenever you cross that line, it really had all that function. And you're gonna tell me that now you you guys can't bring that game back and do that shit now with all the engineering that we have now? That's millions and millions, maybe billions of dollars sitting there, and they don't get that shit. I was able to make a map, do all these modes, capture the flag, team deathmatch. There were over 200 characters, by the way, on that shit. You had like, you had zombies. You had every character that was there. The cyborgs, the robots. You had a monkey that was a parody of RoboCop. He had his suit, and whenever he opened his leg gun, it was a banana. It was funny shit. Funny shit. They had dinosaurs with fedoras. It was crazy shit in that game. Little midget dudes, like jokers, everything in there, man. And the people of Halo, they would put things in there, like from the Halo, like the Semtex, the throw, yeah, that shit. But it had all the guns. It had a laser gun that the secondary effect was a shield in front of it. Bunch of shit has secondary. They have a rifle that the secondary you was able to put the missile in front, like grenade launcher. So if you made a map, you could put, I think it was up to three or four guns and two grenades if you wanted. So we would do shit. Me and my friends in 2008, me and my friends would get together, and like we would make it so that we're all playing as monkeys, right? And we had a group, they had a group, and I made the weapons. All right, we're gonna have a gang fight, and we're gonna play with bricks, a pistol, and a bat. So we were throwing bricks at each other and just like beating each other. It was so fun. You could do anything. They had proximity mines, regular grenades, C4s. They had remote proximity, like remote bomb. It was fun, man. You could make your own stage. You could put. There were power ups in that game. Again, I say, imagine saving a Call of Duty map on your SD card. Go to your friend's house, upload the map, and you're playing with his friends and everyone that he invited to the house that day or whatever. That was Time Splitters, man, and it was so fucking fun. Had a lot to it. Yeah. But I grew up like in the Bronx out here, and I remember I loved I fell in love with like Killer Instinct. I like the wolf in there, Saber Wolf and Spinal. But I remember like what a DC no Marvel versus Capcom when that was out. I used to when I was in the shelter with my moms. Again, they were like on drugs and shit, so I was little, but I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. I was walking around. I go to the store and I see the guys like one would put a quarter on like by the screen and he'd be like, I got next. And I watch those guys like fight and duke it out. I'm still mad that I have not seen a return of that's Gambit. I see shit like that and I'm like, why don't they make a movie about Gambit? But I did see fan made stuff on YouTube where like they're like these real life directors that actually made videos. You ever seen that? I'll send it your way when I find it again. It looks 100% legit, like if it was a movie trailer. So whoever did it, again, props to those guys. They're geniuses, and I wish that companies weren't dickheads just because they make billions and say, ah, well, you're below me. We ain't bothering with that movie. Yeah, but they would steal it, right? They would steal ideas if they ever seen it. But some dude made a trailer for the movie Gambit, and it was so good. I liked like the movement. Whoever was playing the character had really good training in his life for like martial arts moves, so they hired the right guy to do their videos with and collab. And I remember he did like this move where they were all playing. It was over a game of poker. The trailer was over a game of poker. Long story short, so like the boss guy somehow got in touch with Gambit. He invited him, and there was a lady that teleports. So she's like an assassin. So she went to him, pulled him, teleported him to the table, and they're like, "Yo, you're not leaving. Just know that you stole from this guy. He wants a rematch." But when it didn't go his way, he was like, "You know what, man? He's like, I'm gonna kill your motherfucker here." But the staff movement was fun. Like the cinematics was cool. So the guy who was directing it was a genius idea. Where the way Gambit was moving in that shit, he came to a point where he was spinning so fast, and he ended up like the chips were in midair, and the camera slow mode, and he went and pool like play the pool table. He went and hit one of those chips, bang, right into the guy like a bullet, and then they continued fighting and swinging and all that shit. I was like, that shit was nice. And then he was doing the whole what is it? He was getting shot at. It looked like a Star Wars scene where they're just swinging around the lightsaber, blocking all the bullets. Shit was dope, man. A lot of interesting things. Like I'm like that. A lot of interesting things out there.